everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. It's been 75 years since D-Day. One Mainer's special musical connection to the ceremonies today.
Plus, why a job is so critical for people recovering from substance abuse. We'll explain.
The Stanley Cup Final returns to Boston. Game 3 tonight here at the TD Garden.
Coming up, we're going to hear from one of the most iconic voices in the sport, and he happens to have a Maine connection. The news starts right now.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Nelson.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Thanks for joining us. D-Day veterans are honored today, the 75th remembrance of the invasion that marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. Nearly 160,000 Allied troops landed in Normandy on June 6, 1944, part of a successful effort to free France from German occupation. More than 4,000 Allied troops, including 2,500 Americans, died that day.
Maine Senators Susan Collins and Angus King are in France. They're part of an official Senate delegation that's participating in a French government event at the American Cemetery there. Now, if you've ever attended a military funeral or a similar ceremony for a first responder, you've heard a bugler or a trumpet player play taps, right? It's considered an honor to be the person to play.
And one Mainer has a connection to today's 75th anniversary D-Day ceremonies and that song.
He came home that day and said, "I want to play trumpet."
Pam and Theo Borsage say their son Jonathan knew he wanted to play trumpet since he was in 4th grade.
We never asked him to practice. My neighbor one time said, "Can you ask him not to play till after 9?"
Their son has come a long way since then and traveled a great distance.
He's done this at all kinds of ceremonies all over Europe.
Jonathan Borsage plays trumpet for the U.S. Army Band Europe, normally stationed in Germany. And on the 75th anniversary of D-Day, Jonathan is in Normandy, France, playing taps at the ceremony scene across the U.S. and beyond. His parents able to watch on television and on Facebook.
What's going through your mind when you're looking at these videos?
Just very proud of him. Just very proud of him. He has a real God-given talent, and he's using it well.
And you can tell that he's so proud to wear the uniform. You know, he just puts a lot of effort into it, and he just looks so good in it.
For Jonathan's dad, this day, this honor means a great deal because he once served our country too.
Looking back on it, all the people that lost their lives, it's a horrible thing, and yet it's an inspiring thing, and that's why so many people wear the uniform with pride. We're tremendously proud parents.
And Don Kerrigan will have much more on how veterans are remembering D-Day ahead on News Center Maine at 6 o'clock.
There are certain songs that you hear and it brings you somewhere in your head, you know,
right.
And that absolutely is one of those songs.
It's tough not to get the goosebumps when you listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
All right, let's talk about the weather now. We've got to talk to Keith. It was a gorgeous day. Let's keep it rolling, Keith. That was really great.
We can do it. You know, this morning didn't start off so good. So these are the moments, guys, you know, where people put faith in weather forecasters and don't even realize it, right? Like it was raining this morning and we knew it was going to be beautiful in the afternoon, and man, did it turn on a dime around, what was it, 11:30 or noon? Yeah, it was really quick. There's the rain from this morning. Then we downsloped a little bit. We got rid of the clouds, and the satellite right now is beautiful. There's a lot of instability crushing flow here. You can see the clouds just waning, having a hard time even developing as it's dry in the mid-levels and aloft as well. So we're in good shape the rest of today and into tonight. Temperatures skyrocketed pretty quickly there. We had some observations that went from 65 to 73, 74 in just about an hour or so. 75 right now in Augusta, 76 in Waterville, 74 in Bangor. Tonight is clear. It's not chilly, but it's coolish because it's clear out, and that allows all that heat to escape into the upper atmosphere. So we drop to right around 50 along the coastline, 40s inland. Tomorrow looks good. Might see a few clouds, maybe a mountain shower But guys, the weekend is still looking solid. This one was kind of locked up from last weekend that we knew it was going to be nice. So we'll just talk about how warm it's going to get for the tail half.
Sounds great, Keith. We'll talk to you again in a bit with more. On to this, if you have a criminal record, obviously it's pretty tough to get a job, and for the people recovering from substance abuse, experts say having a steady job would help them stay sober.
Chris Costa is here to explain how the One Biddeford Job Fair is helping to break that cycle.
Lee and Lindsay, treatment providers and some local companies held a similar job fair last year, but a lot has changed since then. Now, Enso Recovery is the first program in the state to provide medication-assisted treatment in 3 of Maine's jails to help inmates get a head start on reintegrating into society. The treatment program is trying to combat relapses and slow the deadly pace of the opioid epidemic.
It has really affected my life and torn my life apart.
A makeover is more than a new haircut. It's a chance to reinvent yourself.
How's that temperature? I made very bad mistakes.
Megan Emery is looking for that second chance. She's recovering from abusing opiates, an addiction that led to burglary and ultimately prison.
My addiction just took over my life.
Her new look is part of a new lifestyle. Now she's looking for work at this job fair for people in recovery in Biddeford.
Kind of strengthens your resume.
Okay.
Employers here understand recovery and criminal records.
Is understanding that people do have this substance use disorder, and that this will explain the gap in employment.
Sheriff Bill King says an informal survey of the York County Jail found nearly 95% of inmates were behind bars for drug-related or drug-fueled crimes. Treatment providers from Enso Recovery say a stable job can reduce a person's chances of relapse.
And employment provides people with a sense of belonging, a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose. Self-esteem is the best antidote to relapse.
A stable job and stable housing are the 2 criteria law enforcement and treatment providers agree can help a person stay sober and out of jail.
Since July, I've had the opportunity to get my life back.
Megan hopes more people like her can find the support they need to get a fresh start.
Active addiction is not the end. You know, there's so much more to life.
So these companies and treatment providers are planning a similar job fair in Cumberland County this coming October. Last year at that job fair in Cumberland County, they said they had more than 200 people attend that job fair, and they're hoping that this could be one answer that Maine needs to stop the opioid crisis. And Lee and Lindsay, you know, we were just talking about it a second ago. I heard you say it during the story. Wow, 95%, right? Well, when we've talked to other police officers, sheriffs, they overwhelmingly say that about 80 to 90%, I know that's a range, of the inmates in their jails are there on those either drug-related or drug-fueled crimes. So maybe this could be an answer.
That is unreal. All right. Very interesting, Chris. Thank you very much. All right, there's a big game tonight. Hockey game. Boston Bruins, St. Louis Blues facing off in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final.
A good old hockey game. And the News Center Maine team of Jess Gagne and Hannah Deneen are live at the Garden now with our pregame coverage and Maine Connection. Hey, ladies.
Hey guys, so we are Game 5 here at TD Garden, and if you're anything like me and my family, you are probably racking your brain to try to figure out exactly what you did during Game 1 and Game 3 of the final, because that's when the Bruins won, so you're trying to recreate everything.
You control
We're so superstitious. Yeah. So we asked people online what their superstitions were, and we got some great responses.
Yeah, we're going to start with Paul, who says he trimmed his beard and the Bruins lost, so he's not touching the razor again until after the playoffs are over. Smart move, Paul. Let that beard grow out. We love the playoff beards.
And this one's my favorite. Ken says, I wear 2 Bruins shirts. Now, I'm not sure if he rotates them. I prefer to think that he wears them both at the same time. That's just a little weirder. And he says the volume has to be on a player's number, usually 40.
40, you know who that is? Dugarest. We love it. All right, well, just some hockey notes as well, too. Defenseman Zdeno Chara, who has a broken jaw, and Matt Grzelcyk, who is in concussion protocol, both practiced today, so they are expected to play, but listed officially as game time decisions. We'll talk more about that coming up, and also hear from a legendary play-by-play announcer who has some connections to Maine, so stick with us.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. Playing with a broken jaw, that's hilarious, intense. But I'm not surprised one bit.
Oh, that hurts my jaw thinking about it.
All right, we'll talk to you again, ladies. Thanks a lot. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but up next, we're going to talk about Bigfoot.
Sure are. The FBI releasing some information about the mythical creature that dates back to the 70s. We'll have a Bigfoot historian here to answer your questions. This week, the FBI released Bigfoot documents from the 1970s. The basic summary here is that a man who was trying to prove Bigfoot was real gave the FBI samples of hair of what he thought was from the mythical creature.
Yeah, the FBI says it was deer hair. That's a bummer.
Womp womp.
But here to talk more about these findings is Lauren Coleman from the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland. And right off the bat, well, Lauren, thank you for being here. But sure. I mean, what did I'm sure you jumped right into these findings, right? What did you see there?
Well, this was Peter Byrne, a man that's now 93. He's been very involved for a long time. He got these hair samples, 15 hair samples. He's got contact with the FBI. They usually don't do this kind of thing, but they went ahead and sampled these. They tested them, and it came back a member of the deer family, which means it probably was a moose. But the thing that people haven't talked about yet, and I've written books about Peter Byrne and Tom Slick, a wealthy millionaire that supported him. In the 1950s, he actually led expeditions to Nepal and got the Dalai Lama out because he was working with the CIA. So this man has a long history of CIA and now the FBI. It's just all bringing up a lot of questions in people's minds.
Fascinating, fascinating.
Right?
Well, you've been talking to some people lately too, right?
Yeah, there were some community groups talking about maybe possible sightings in the Skowhegan area. Yeah. What is it about the fascination of Bigfoot in Maine specifically?
Well, Mainers tend to like animals, and we like our individual kind of thoughts. So it's the combination of mysteries and animals, and being in Maine, there's lots of trees, people see a lot of things. The thing about Mainers, though, they usually know wildlife. So if there's something that's a little different, they're going to talk to you about it.
Raising a red flag.
Lauren, real quick, yes or no, is Bigfoot real?
There's a possibility. I don't believe in any of this because that's the providence of religion. Okay. It's faith-based. Right. Show me the evidence, I'll accept or deny it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And check out the Cryptozoology Museum if you're in town, because it is really cool.
Nice being here.
Thanks,
thanks
Lauren.
a lot.
We appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Jess and Hannah again about this Maine tie to the big games tonight, and all the Stanley Cup games, actually.
Love it. Can't wait for that. And we're going to hear more about that weekend forecast from Keith. Hopefully, some more sun in store.
Nothing says ratings like chemistry.
All right, we're back. As we mentioned earlier in the show, there's a kind of a big hockey game tonight in Boston.
Yeah, if you haven't heard so far. Let's check back in with Hannah and Jess. They're going to tell us about a Maine connection to the broadcast team. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Yeah, as we head into Game 5 tonight, it's all tied up at 2 apiece. And maybe this is just me personally, but that's why I love playoff hockey. It keeps it exciting. You don't want your team to win it 4. You want it to be a battle.
I wanted them to sweep, but okay, we can
So we're heading into Game 5 tonight, and things are gonna kick off at 8 o'clock on NBC right here.
Yeah, of course, and fans will recognize the voice doing the play-by-play as legendary announcer Mike Doc Emmerich. But what you may not know is that he has very strong connections to Maine. Before he was a national play-by-play star, Emmerich was the voice of the Maine Mariners back when the team was founded in 1977. The first championship game he ever called, actually, was Maine's win over the New Haven Nighthawks in 1978. Some of the things Doc enjoyed most about life in Maine happened outside the arena.
living in Cape Elizabeth and seeing the lobstermen come out and check their traps in the morning and then again at night brings back a lot of memories. My wife and I got to go out on a lobster boat and see what that was like. A lot of great memories from 3 years' time in Portland. You never forget that, and you don't forget the people.
So I actually know exactly what he's talking about because, fun fact, Doc used to live in the same house that me and my family lived in when we were living in Cape Elizabeth. Yeah.
That is so cool. Maine hockey connections. I love it.
All over the place.
All right, well, coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30, we're going to hear more from Doc Emrick about his life inside the arena and some of the cool things that he did with the Mariners. So, Lee and Lindsay, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, you hear that voice and you think hockey. Unbelievable.
At what point are we going to see Hannah lace up the skates and get on there and play for the Bruins? I mean, at this point, her connections, it's unreal to the NHL.
It's great because it provides such interesting insight into what's going on, you know.
She's kind of got good teeth, though. You don't want to, probably don't want to put her out there.
True.
Yeah,
that is true.
So spend all that money on whitening and stuff.
Yeah.
Just mess them up in one quick swoop.
Exactly.
Today, we turned the corner, and it's weird because it feels like Friday now. To me.
Wait, it's not?
Yeah, it doesn't, because we were like, oh, the weekend's going to be great, and I've been including Friday in that for some reason that I can't explain. Other than it's going to be nice through the weekend, so we just tack one on there. But yeah, we really cleared out fast. We talked about this morning. It was rainy, foggy in places, and then around midday. And this is a really clean satellite. You can see the kind of sinking motion in the atmosphere that is really not making it possible to produce too many clouds out there. And the sky looks like something you might see in the fall right now. Here's a look in Portsmouth. Just beautiful. I don't know why I'm here. I was trying to see if I could get somebody to fill it. I took my dog out for a walk at lunch, and that's like a bad decision because then you don't want to go back. Right. He was like, yeah, he was like, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are we going? And temperatures are beautiful as well, into the mid-70s, 76 in Waterville, 74 in Bangor. Late highs because of that late surge there. So tonight looks good. It's going to actually get coolish, so don't get too carried away putting air conditioning on or anything, because we'll be dropping into the 40s and 50s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is really nice as well. Sunny, temperatures upper 60s, low 70s. A few clouds in the mountains possible tomorrow afternoon, even a sprinkle there. It's going to be so minimal. I'm not worried about it. Overnight is good on Friday, and then Saturday is sunny pretty much from start to finish. Very similar look to today. Not quite as warm as today, but we'll be right around 70 degrees on Saturday. And then Sunday is the warmest day of the weekend. So it's kind of one of those deals, pick your preference, because Saturday sunnier, Sunday will feel more like summer. All on the ridge of high pressure. It's just position of highs that matter. So when the high's right over you, typically your temperature is going to be about average. When the high pressure shifts and gets to the east of you, now the winds are out of the south, that's your chance to warm up. That's Sunday. It's a little humid Sunday afternoon, Sunday night into Monday, and then some rain on Monday night, Tuesday. So highs on Sunday. I'm taking some of the computer model guidance and just pushing it up. Just based on what happened today, when the models had us at 72, we get to 76. The angles there, the air mass is there. So I've got a lot of 80s. I've got Freiburg at 86. So all of this stuff is milder than models, but that's what I'm here for. So overall, really nice. Monday is a cloudier day, but it's warm. It's a little humid. Then reality check on Tuesday. However, it's not terrible because we go back to sun on Wednesday. And then we're watching a storm on Thursday. I'm not sure. The model's having a hard time resolving late next week. And frankly, I don't care right now because it's so nice before it. So we'll work on that tomorrow maybe.
Okay.
If you feel like it?
If I feel like it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll wait till Monday. It's all good.
Very good. Thanks, Keith. Okay, mine does. Does your phone ring off the hook with robocalls? Yeah. I know. It's so bad. And you might find it annoying. Some help, though, might be on the way. I was actually excited when I saw this push alert today. The FCC approved new rules to make it easier for big telecom companies to block suspected unwanted robocalls for their customers. The FCC has given phone companies the green light to use their call blocking services by default instead of making subscribers sign up for the service. Today's robocall relief announcement comes after pressure from consumers tired of those endless unwanted calls. One study estimates that more than 5 billion robocalls per month hit phones of U.S. customers, and sometimes they look like they're from your area code, so it's tricky.
Yes, that makes it harder. Also if this does not scream Maine, then we don't know what does. This is a post from Bagel Central, that's in Bangor, for anybody enjoying this beautiful weather and kayaking the Kenduskeag. If you are passing by, don't forget to call in an order. We will personally deliver it to you right out there on the kayak. Happy summertime. And by the way, I'll have an everything bagel with chive cream cheese.
That sounds like a great order, and what a great idea.
I know, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Apparently
Kayak
that goes
delivery.
right in behind, so why not?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
A lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams is here with a preview of that. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Chance Baker. You may remember that name. He was a young man who was shot and killed by police after he was waving around a gun in a parking lot. Well, now his family is suing not only the police department, but the pawn shop that sold him the BB gun. It was a realistic BB gun, wasn't even a real gun. So we're going to have the latest on that. Plus, a lot of people trying to lose weight, as always. What if you could do that by shopping?
I like that.
I don't like that.
They had me.
I do not like that idea.
They had me in shopping. No, seriously, people are losing weight by becoming shoppers for other people.
Oh, okay.
So it's really just, you know, a lot of moving around, but you
just
get your shopping fix at the same
just
time.
seeing dollar signs there.
Shopping is my cardio. There's a t-shirt out there somewhere that says that.
You should trademark that right now.
Shopping is my cardio.
We'll see you guys in a bit. We're back with Brain Drops after this.
So I was reading my usual nerd rags today, and I thought this was interesting. Stanford researchers want to reduce climate change by releasing more CO2 into the atmosphere, which that sounds like a weird headline, right? Because CO2 is what's going on here. So the concept is they want to convert methane to CO2 to try to give us more time to solve the problem. Let me tell you why that makes sense and why it might not. So methane accounts for only 10% of our greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, as opposed to almost 82% CO2. However, it has 25 to 30 times the heat trapping ability of CO2, meaning methane, pound for pound, traps way more heat in the atmosphere than CO2 does. So you might ask yourself, then why do we worry about CO2 and not as much about methane? And the reason for that is that methane comes out of our atmosphere, degrades in our atmosphere in 10 to 12 years. Meanwhile, CO2 is 100 to 200 plus years, and in some cases it takes thousands of years to get rid of the CO2. So as we increase this via humans, we have no way to get rid of it over time. So the concept here is, let's buy us some short-term time by reducing the methane, slow down the warming, so we can figure it out on how to reduce CO2 in general. The only thing about this is I think it could work. I'm not so sure that scientists should bail out people who don't believe science, right? Which is essentially what would be happening. The reason we're not doing this fast enough is because some people balk at the whole climate change science. So it's a very interesting, like, make your bed and sleep in it situation, because this could fix it potentially. I don't know if that sends the right message overall, but it's a really interesting idea, and I've never heard anybody propose it before.
Two wrongs don't make a right, Keith,
I know.
So.
Maybe we should save the Earth, and then we can point
Let's save the
fingers
Earth,
later.
and then we'll, exactly. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts now.